Hello, hello! It's an exciting day today. I'm going to be playing this game I put together called the Traveler's Tower. It's going to be released hopefully pretty soon in a bigger conglomeration of minigames. And I want to play it. So it is a minigame for traveling in TTRPGs. It can be played in a group or solo. I did design it for groups, so basically I feel that travel is pretty mundane and can get stale very quickly. So I was like, what could I do to make this more fun? And then came this game. So what you need a deck of cards with one joker, 1d10 per player, and 13 coins. These coins are going to represent keys that you find on each floor. The tower arrives whenever it is convenient or when it's necessary. I'm going to play it solo today. The rules to play in a group are a little bit different, but you get the gist of it. So you begin at the bottom of a stone tower. The door to the first floor is open. And once you go inside, the door shuts and locks, and you cannot exit until you've reached the top of the tower. And on each floor, there are different enemies. And you're going to figure out these enemies based on what cards are drawn. Once you're inside, the tower takes flight. And there's an enemy on the first floor. Whenever you are playing with a group, it is a little bit more complicated, but it's not too bad. It's a little bit more work for the GM than the players, that's for sure. But that's just any TTRPG, I think. Most of the time. So to succeed or fail at an encounter, each player is going to roll 1d10 per encounter, or per enemy that they're fighting. The GM is going to take the average of the player rolls, and then see if that's above the enemy power. And there's a table for that that details all the enemy power. So you start the game with 10 life points. If you fail an attempt at an encounter, you lose a life. And if you reach 0, you do not reach your destination successfully. Maybe the tower crashes and you end up in a different area. Or whatever consequence the GM wants to come up to. If you're playing solo, you just die. But that is part of it. So whenever you're playing in a group, each floor the GM is going to draw a number of cards equal to the level of the floor. And you can decide if you want to throw all the enemies in one room, or if you want to have the floors be pretty large and have 1 or 2 enemies per room. And whenever you're playing solo, it is encouraged to lower the enemy power by 1 or 2, depending on how difficult you want to make it for yourself. I'm going to lower each enemy power by 2 in this playthrough. And let's get started. So the very first card that I've drawn is the 4 of Hearts. And that means that there are enchanted swords. And there are 8 of them. So this doesn't mean you have to roll a 6 8 times. You just have to roll above a 6 1 time to get rid of all the enemies for that specific card. The amount of them is merely just for flavor, and whenever you are rolling, you need to roll above the enemy power to succeed. If you tie it, it is a fail. Also, whenever you play solo, I think it's a bit easier to, and a little less convoluted because there's less people to aid you in your journey, to just roll one, or just draw one card per floor. And you're totally welcome to do that with a group, but it might be a little boring that way. So I rolled a 2 against these 8 enchanted swords. So that is going to bring my health back to 9. And then I've rolled a 5. And so since I'm lowering these all by 2, this needs to be a 4, and a 5 does beat it. So I have gained the key on this floor. Maybe the swords were guarding it. And I venture into the second floor where there's a 5. And there's a healing potion encased in glass that sits in the middle of this room. If I obtain it, I can use it at any point to regain 1d10 life points. I rolled an 8, which is definitely above a 5. Again, let's remember that I'm lowering all these by 2 since I'm playing solo. And so I gain the key, I gain a health potion. I'm going to use my extra d10, set it aside, just so I can use it later if I really need it. And then the next floor is the queen. And the queen smiles upon you and grants you 1 life point, so that brings me back up to 10. Very nice. And I got another queen. That's insane. I cannot go above 10 life points, so maybe the queen just smiles at me this time. But I do get another key, and I venture on to floor 5, which is going to have a housekeeper or other NPC that resides on this floor and gives me a hint to unlocking the door. So the next encounter, I gain +1 to my roll. These are good cards. I'm not gonna lie, every time that I've played this, it has not gone this well. Like, I don't usually get all the health stuff at once. Usually there's a bunch of enemies before the health. That's cool though. And so the next floor has a necromancer that has raised the dead and is summoning more. There are 1d10 skeletons and the necromancer. So there are 8 skeletons and necromancer. And so I need to roll above a 5. Oh my gosh, I rolled an 8. I never roll this well. This is awesome. So I defeat them, finally. And I venture onto the next floor, and here there's a bull turkey. It's a massive turkey-like bird with the head of a bull, and it charges at me. Maybe I'm wearing red. So I rolled a 5, and since we have established that these are 2 lower, that does succeed. And I gain the key. And I venture onto the next floor. And this floor, it seems like spiders have moved in, and they're territorial. Oh my gosh, this is the most 8s I've ever rolled. So that's definitely above a 2. These spiders must be not as ferocious as I had imagined originally. And then I gain their key and continue on. So for the 9th floor, it's the king. The king's warriors await you. You roll 1d10. there's 8 plus 5 warriors here. So 13. And I need to roll above a 4 to defeat them. I rolled a 6. How nice. And the next floor is going to have rats. So you can imagine that these are normal size rats or giant rats. Doesn't matter. And I've just rolled a 9. So that is definitely above a 5 or a 3. And so maybe I'm just feeling really strong today. And there's more rats on the next floor. They heard the cries of their brethren, and they have all started to come down the tower. And then I rolled a 1. So that brings my health down to 9. And then I'm gonna try to get them again. I rolled a 2. And I have 8 health. That is a 3. And since 3 is what I need to get, and I rolled a 3, I lose 1 health. And a 1. I'm gonna throw this dice away. And there we go, there's a 6. So now I can venture onward and forward onto the next floor, where awaits me another bull turkey. And here I need to roll a 4. I rolled a 5. So I'm getting used to fighting these creatures in this tower. And I venture onto the last floor, where there's a bath. It says a bath in the tower. Stay and soak. Regain 2 life points. So that would bring me back up to 8. And I have obtained all of the coins on the Traveler's Tower. And it lands at my destination. I exit. And I feel a sense of accomplishment. And I know that lowering the enemy power by 2 seems a little bit easy, but if it's your first time playing, it's definitely a good way to get the hang of it. And if you want to challenge yourself, you can play with the original numbers. Or you could draw the number of cards equal to the floor level that you're on and play it that way as well. I wanted to keep it simple for this video, but this is a very versatile game with a pretty simple premise. And I think it has the potential to be a lot of fun and make travel pretty interesting. If these enemies don't fit your setting, then you can reflavor them whatever way fits for your campaign. But yeah, so this has been the Traveler's Tower. It's going to be coming out in a book called Gameception that will be releasing later this year. And I think it's a lot of fun. If you've made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And I'll see you next time.